Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Two of a Kind Sports, the show where passion meets the game. I'm your co host, Denise,
And I'm your co-host D Nice.
and today we're going to be discussing the Washington Commanders naming their former quarterbacks coach assistant, David Blough, as the new offensive coordinator. What a quantum leap career wise.
Yeah, yes, yes, it
Nice.
was.
What say you?
Well, Denise, for me, um, I like this move. I think a lot of people are not probably really too big on this. Of course, we know that Mike McDaniel's was everyone's first choice, but I think I like D Nice likes I like David Blau because one because Jaden has a relationship already with him, and then two, I just think this offense, which will probably be a combination of, um, which you have my man Ben Johnson and you have Kevin O'Connell. That's from he came on Tulich under both. Okay, so he played with Kevin O'Connell at the Minnesota Vikings, and he also was on the coaching staff and as an assistant with the Detroit Lions with Ben Johnson. So I think he will come in with a mixture of an offense. I think it will be more balanced. I think we will still see some of the same concept and principles from Cliff because now you have three people that you kind of been under. So so I just think I think this will help Jaden, and I think it would just give Jaden just an extra boost. I think it will help Terry. I think we will have a lot of people, be able to move around, and I think we will, of course, with any new key pieces, I just believe that this can help the maturation of both. They both get to grow together, and with David Blau being 30 years old and Jaden, being young, they can grow together, and I think they can bounce ideas off each other. So, what do you think about it, Denise?
Well, I am neither hot nor cold about this decision
Gotcha.
because, as I have said from the very beginning, Dan Quinn does not make smart organizational decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. His
Mm-hmm.
whole mishandling of Joe Witt Jr., relieving him of his duties, yet keeping him on the payroll was a big misstep. And now Quinn is kind of skewing the hierarchy of the organization because below the offensive coordinator, you have different position coaches.
Yep.
And what this organization is saying, or what Dan Quinn specifically is saying, is that none of his position coaches were worthy of this promotion to
Mm-hmm.
OC. Okay. And not only do you pass up your position coaches, specifically, you have passed up your quarterbacks coach and you have made your quarterbacks coach assistant a superior in the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while a lot of people are happy about David Blau getting this promotion, you have to believe that there must be someone in this hierarchy who feels slighted because they were passed over. They were overlooked and not chosen for this career growth.
Dwayne Johnson.
Well, but looking on the brighter side of things,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's more comfortable to promote from within.
Right.
And I have to give Candy Waller her credit because Candy Waller, back in July of 2025, pointed attention to David Blau.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was very uh, effective and he played a key role in the success of this team's offense under Cliff Kingsbury. She said he was drawing up plays, he made major contributions. She said he was one to look out for. Okay. And she said that back in July of 2025. So a lot of people have been impressed with him and they like this move.
Right.
I found it kind of weird that everybody was looking at Mike McDaniel, and saying, oh, come home. And, oh, you have a relationship with Dan Quinn and he would be a great fit. Did anybody bother to ask Mike McDaniel what Mike McDaniel wanted to do?
Well, I think that's why they went and made this move so abruptly, because Mike McDaniels, from my understanding, had 5 interviews, for a position of a head coach. And I don't think you wanted to wait on that. So, to be honest with you, Denise, I really think this is something, I think they had this planned out all along, even
I
going to
think they
last
had
year.
this in their back
Yeah,
pocket
in
at
their back
least.
pocket, because even when you
You
see
know.
on Hard Knocks, you see David Blough, he's taking control of the room. You see they all have the most respect for him. I don't know if you seen during training camp where they show when Jaden Daniels, Sam Hartman, and actually David Blough and them, they're throwing the actual footballs into the net,
Yeah.
and that's become a competitive game between Jaden and David Blough. And they said a lot of times David Blough will win, in the competitive game. So I think they already had this kind of in their back pocket if things didn't work out for Cliff, because I really believe the organization believed that at some point Cliff was going to go on to become a head coach at some point. So I think this was already kind of brewing itself.
Yeah, and if that was the case, which is highly probable,
Hmm.
what does that say about your position coaches, where you can look totally past each one of them
Well,
and
like I
look at
said,
their
Brian,
assistant
Johnson, the black coach who was an
O
assistant coach,
line?
he did no, not I'm not talking
Oh,
about the O line
Brian
coach.
Jones.
Yeah, Brian Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah. He did get interviewed, so we don't know how that went, but they
Come
did
on now,
because
we you know what we call that.
yeah, of course. But they
Rooney
gotta they gotta
rule.
satisfy the Rooney rule. Exactly. So like I said, you know,
I
as I
don't give
always say
them
a lot of
credit for
times,
that.
Denise,
Now I'm not letting you get away with that. They
it's
interviewed a black guy. Okay.
well, I've always, to the contrary, I always say he has the right complexion for the connection. So, we don't never know. A lot of times behind the scenes, they already pretty much have who they want. That's in
Yeah.
most organizations, most CEOs do that. A lot of times it's not even nobody else's position. They already have somebody who they want to have
Right.
to
They
fill
know
that role.
who they
Yeah.
want, especially, when they're looking within.
Yeah.
They pretty much know. And look, I totally get that keeping David Blough is a good and comfortable move for Jaden Daniels' progress. He
Hmm.
won't have to get to know a new offensive coordinator. He won't have to learn a completely new system with which he is unfamiliar. So
Right.
I totally get that. And I understand and I appreciate the fact that David Blough has been given credit for his contributions for the successes of the 2024 season under Cliff Kingsbury. And David Blough himself said that Cliff Kingsbury was open to ideas and suggestions from anyone.
Right.
So he did, Cliff Kingsbury was very inclusive in his management style,
Hmm.
which gave David Blough the platform to demonstrate his abilities.
Right. So he did. He
So
definitely had input into the game plan every week. So
yes,
that's a
and
good thing. So his
that's a
voice
good
is
thing.
right. His voice for the last 2 years, it wasn't like it was muted. By him having that, that's why I say, far as continuity wise, I can understand it. Now whether it works, that remains to be seen. But I'm a little optimistic. I think it will. And here's my thing, Denise. It doesn't even matter, even if you had more of an even more experienced OC that would have came in. Let's say Mike McDaniels. Let's say uh, uh, Cleveland's Kevin Steichen. You know what I mean? Any of them that come in, you still will have to worry about um, still having continuity. You know what I mean? You just got to get different used to different
But when you
terminology and different
say,
coaching styles. So I'm kind of glad that we still have them. I'm
well,
glad that it's still kind of in house a little
well, for me,
bit. Hmm.
continuity is a good thing when you're winning. Continuity is not good when you're losing. Continuity is not good when you're losing and you have no solution for losing. Continuity is not good when you have a fabulous season and you have zero sustainability and you come back the next season and you fall off miserably. That's not the time to focus, in my opinion, on continuity, because what are you continuing?
Right.
What are you maintaining? What are you keeping that makes you feel comfortable moving forward with it? Okay? So I'm not I'm not interested in continuity. I'm looking at a team that is 5-12. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to continue that. I don't want continuity of that.
Why?
And while, people give David Blough some of the credit for the team's successes in the 2024 season,
Yeah.
I'm not hearing a whole lot of accountability for a lot of this team's failures in this 2025 season.
Well, the
Okay,
OC, the
because
OC gonna get that. He not gonna get that because
so
he was a
Cliff
position
Kingsbury
coach.
is now a standalone issue, but when
Yep.
it comes out time to hand out praise, then we can divvy it up. But when it comes time to show accountability, then he's a standalone entity.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. But that's how it works though. When you're like your head, as the pecking order goes, your
Right.
head coach, then your OC, then your DC. So when the offense is doing well, of course the OC, regardless of everyone else, all the other assistant coaches that have a piece of that, they don't get the praise. Only the OC, and same way with the
But
DC.
David Blough was given some of the praise. He was given some credit. He was actually, I told you about Candy Waller,
Mm-hmm.
and she wasn't, the only one, but she was like the first that
Right.
I saw and heard. She was,
Mm-hmm.
like among the first.
Yes.
So there were people who were paying attention to him and who were eyeballing him, and, but again, I'm looking at this thing as a wait and see proposition because yes, David Blough is young and
That's
they
fair.
say
That's
he's a
fair.
great mind.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that remains to be seen. I mean, it would be nice. I would like to believe he's a great mind, but great minds produce results. And the good results that we got can't totally be laid on his shoulders because you have a one Mr. Cliff Kingsbury.
Right.
And then for the bad results that we got, you mean to tell me we had a great mind in house and nobody could figure out how to stop the losing streak this season? We had a great mind in house and nobody could get us beyond 5 wins
Mm-hmm.
out of 17 opportunities, but we had a great mind in the house. I am looking at that with a little bit of suspicion, but they like him. They love David Blough. Everybody's singing his praises right now. To me, and I'm flying this mission solo, okay? But to Denise, right here on Two of a Kind Sports, David Blough is an unproven commodity, okay? And while we all wish him the best and we want the best from him, and we hope that he, makes good on this great career growth and wonderful opportunity, I am looking for great performance with sustainability. Okay. Because as I have said about this team, and I've watched this team do it year after year after year, this team responds positively to change initially. Okay. You give them a new coach, they're going to play great for that coach. You give them a new coordinator, they're going to play great for that coordinator. You give them a new quarterback, they're going to play better under the new quarterback. This team gets high off the new car smell. Okay.
Yeah.
The problem is sustainability.
Yep.
Okay. So Cliff Kingsbury, to his credit,
Mm-hmm.
led this offense to a conference final,
Yeah.
which this team in Burgundy and Gold
Mm-hmm.
hasn't seen in 33 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So over
Yeah.
3 decades. So he's gotten, and as much as people want to talk about the Shanahans, both daddy and son, Mike and
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, as
Mm-hmm.
much as they want to talk about Sean McVay, as much as they want to talk about LaFleur, as much as they want to talk about Kevin O'Connell and all that. Look, nobody has gotten as far as this team got last season,
Right.
making it to the
So look,
conference
Denise.
final.
Okay. So I get all that, and I agree with you on that. But what made you think that really made Dan Quinn go out on a limb and make this decision? One, for a young unproven. Two, to just let Cliff Kingsbury walk away without already having some type of contingency plan. What I mean, do you? I don't know. You know, like I said, I think he made the move. I don't know. I don't think he made it out of desperation. I think he had this planned all along. So I'm hoping for Dan Quinn's sake, he made the right move. But that's something else that I was going to ask you.
You don't think it was desperation?
I
You don't
really
think Dan Quinn is trying to save his job? You don't think Dan
well
Quinn is
he's
willing to put somebody out there?
either way, whoever he brings in, it's all tied to him anyway. So if they do good or bad, they're all going to be fired. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but by
Regardless if
choosing
it was
this
internal or
guy,
external.
but by choosing this guy,
Yeah.
pulling him from down below where he was and bringing him up, which is pretty unprecedented, especially in this organization. If it works out, it makes Dan Quinn look like a genius.
Absolutely.
Which I
Absolutely.
know he's not.
And if it does, and if he
And
fails,
if it doesn't, then he's out anyways.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
He's out anyways. So it's like, hey, look, he is in a position, Dan Quinn is in a position where he can take these types of chances because he's got nothing to lose but all the losing he's already done.
Yeah, and it's very pivotal. This is very pivotal what he's doing. Like I said, the OC in this DC that we have to hire in the offseason, it's going to be very crucial. And that's my point to what I want to say to you is that, you know, do you think the OC hiring is more important than the DC hiring, or do you see significance in both?
I see for this team, I see significance in both. Okay. Because Cliff Kingsbury's problem with this team was that in spite of all of the obstacles, in spite of all of the difficulties, his team did manage to put double digits in most games on the board. But we had a defense that gave up more points than we gained. Okay. So if your defense can't stop anybody, it doesn't matter how many points your offense puts up, the defense is going to just let it all go to waste.
Yeah, you have to play complementary football. Yeah. Your offense and your defense works together. So I don't know. You know, I think, okay, so I guess my point when I'm asking you, if with Dan Quinn and what he's doing, do you think he'll have a little bit more leeway with having David Blough as your OC and that not working versus having a prominent DC in, and if that fails, do you think that would make Dan Quinn get fired next year if the DC doesn't do well, or
Dan Quinn should get fired next year anyways? But
I knew he was going to say that. I definitely knew you know,
Dan Quinn has made some bad decisions organizationally. Now, the decisions he made can work out on the field if he's fortunate. Okay, if the planets align and everything works out well, like it did in 2024. Okay, but here's the thing: a good coach knows how to win and knows how to sustain the winning.
Right.
This great fall off basically says that Dan Quinn and company got lucky in 2024. That's what it basically says.
Well,
they worked.
I can't argue that. You're right, because
they earned their wins. Okay, they played who was on their schedule. Okay,
and each year is a different year. Right.
It worked out very well that year. Okay, now had that been all down to skill,
right,
we would have seen better results this year. Not necessarily the same results, but we certainly would have seen better results. But to fall off this badly, and Dan Quinn didn't have an answer. Joe Witt on defense didn't have an answer. Cliff Kingsbury on offense didn't have an answer. David Blough being this great mind and this wonderful new talent that you know needs to be promoted and put out there, he didn't have an answer either, because we know from his own words that Cliff Kingsbury did listen to him and did allow him to have input. So
along with Anthony Lynn as well. Yes. So they collaborate all together. David Blough, Anthony Lynn, Brian Johnson, and Cliff Kingsbury. So they all had their hand into the game plan, as far as passing, as far as running. Yeah. So I'm with you on this. At the end of the day, all of them should have been able to take some type of blame for what our season went through.
Well, I
But
don't care about blame. I think all of them should have been able to come up with a better solution to yield some better outcomes than what we got.
well,
They should have
how
been,
we know they didn't, and then Cliff just didn't listen. Because seeing that
because
seems to be the
David
problem. That
Blough
seems to be the
said,
that look at the
so you going to
philosophical
believe
issues.
David or not?
Um,
Do you
far as
believe him or
what?
don't you believe him?
But I believe him. I believe. I only know
He
what he can
said
tell me.
that Cliff Kingsbury listened to him, and Cliff
Yeah.
Kingsbury allowed him to contribute, and Cliff Kingsbury had buy-in from his staff because he
Well,
didn't care where the good the good ideas came
came from.
from.
Right.
So either we're going to believe David Blough or
Yeah.
we're not going to
No, I
believe
believe
him.
him because Anthony Lynn was very instrumental in that game plan as well. So I believe him. I believe him. That's what I'm saying. With the good, Cliff got all the credit. But when it went bad, it just went bad on Cliff. Like you're saying, nobody else was giving any, pointing any onus to, the running game, which Anthony Lynn, I think, did a great job as the running game, as the running backs coach.
I think the running game had greatly improved.
Far as what, running game or just what?
The running game over the years, from past seasons, not 2024, of
Okay.
course, because that
Okay.
was the hallmark year,
Gotcha.
okay? But
Yeah.
in previous seasons,
Mhm.
I think our running game has indeed improved because we have been able to move down the field more
Mhm.
steadily.
Mhm.
And I definitely thought our O line over these past couple of seasons has been performing much better because we have watched terrible, horrible, porous O lines that put our quarterbacks in jeopardy almost on every play. So I think we have improved. I've seen improvement. And then when you get a top draft pick Heisman Trophy winner like a Jaden Daniels, your offense is naturally bound to improve.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then the weapons around him initially, performed very well in his rookie season. But
Right.
when we talk about David Blough being good for Jaden Daniels' development, let me ask you, D
Uh-huh.
Nice,
Mhm.
what development did we see from Jaden Daniels in terms of progress this season?
We didn't really see too much with 5 games, and that's the part that I was so really looking forward to this year, Denise. To answer your question, I did not see no development, and that's one of my things why I think I'm so optimistic and so looking forward to this upcoming season with David Blough to see that development that we haven't seen. Now, like we said, I think in past, Jaden masked a lot of the things that we had going wrong and what went right with that offense in 2024. By us not having the full weapons that we needed, this past season, it really showed. So I just think it will help. Well, here's another thing too. In year 3, we're hoping that Jaden takes that next step anyway, as far as just his personal growth as a professional player. One, being a more student of the game. 2, being able to dissect the defenses better. So somewhat having this familiarity with this system, possibly with a little Ben Johnson, a little Cliff Kingsbury, this can help Jaden play fast instead of being out there thinking so much. You know what I mean? So I think because with David Blough being a quarterback, former NFL quarterback, I think he can just be in Jaden's ear and be another set of Jaden's eyes out there for him to help him see to see things and help him to develop his game. I just think this is a win-win situation. I do.
But
I don't know.
he wasn't a good quarterback like Jaden.
It doesn't matter. It's a lot of people that's not good quarterbacks that have become great minds, and vice versa. Great players have been trash coaches. So I don't go off of that.
I read
Like you
that
said,
too.
yeah.
I
Like
read
we
that too.
like
That
we said, it's a wait and see approach.
those who can't teach, in this case, those who can't coach.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. So, we're going to see. We definitely going to see. I'm looking forward to it. It is the very unknown, Denise. It really is. But at the end
I
of the
hope
day,
it
guess
works
what?
out. I hope
Yeah,
it
me
works
too.
out. But
We don't have no more questions about Cliff Kingsbury. Now we can say, what about David Blough? You know what I mean? What is David Blough
well,
not
now we
doing?
will have questions about David Blough. So
We
let's
shall
not fool
see.
ourselves.
We shall
Okay.
see. We may
We'll
or may
have
not. This
we'll
thing
have
might get
questions about
this
him
thing might get
because
rolling good, Denise.
look, next
Mm-hmm.
season, I'm not predicting anything, but I
Okay.
expect next season to go well
I hope so.
because of David Blough. I think next season this offense will perform much
Mhm.
better, but that's not going to tell the story for me
Right.
because again, it's all about sustainability. And
Right.
that's one thing that nobody is getting out of this team. Dan Quinn isn't getting it. Joe Witt never got it. And Cliff Kingsbury didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing that David Blau can do
Right.
that would justify him getting skyrocketed up
Mm-hmm.
the career ladder the
Mm-hmm.
way he has been is for him to turn this offense around and make it dynamic, and for him to continue to
Mm-hmm.
do that for at least 2 seasons, at least at a minimum 2 seasons of over 500 of an over 500 season.
Mm-hmm.
Two, at least two.
That
Because
is
if
too.
he has a great season next year, so did Cliff Kingsbury.
Right.
and Cliff Kingsbury
Well,
got us further again, got us further than a whole bunch of his predecessors.
I
I
agree.
mean, 33 years. And I don't know how I forgot in the last broadcast. I don't know how I forgot that the Eagles won the division because there was a whole bunch of hoopla over the Eagles winning 2 consecutive division titles, which is very rare in the NFC East because the division titles have been spread amongst all 4 teams.
Right.
And the Eagles were the ones to get the 2 consecutive years, which is the first time that has happened in a long time. So I don't know how I forgot that last season, but I mean last broadcast right here on Two of a Kind Sports. So please, folks, Denise is not out of her mind. I just have my little lapses every now and again, and sometimes D Nice is too nice to correct me, but he did say we didn't win the division.
Right. He's right. So look, hey Denise, someone in the chat, what is it? Calbear Koberstein saying Daniels is already washed. Give me some reasons why you're saying that Jaden Daniels is already washed. I mean, you going
You
by
mean like washed up? Washed
that's
up like
that's
he's
that's
done?
basically what he's saying. He's saying in the
Well,
chat.
well, let me
He's
ask
saying
you
in the chat
this.
that he's washed up.
Okay, well, let me ask you this to follow up on that statement.
Mm-hmm.
You're every time I complained about strength and conditioning, which is health
And
and
you know,
player
I'm
performance.
starting to hear more people say that now, Denise. It seems like ever since you touched on that, I'm starting to hear more people talking about, well, what about this strength and condition? I said, well, my partner, my co-host, been saying about that. You know, after what they say,
Exactly.
health and performance. But at this point, like I said, I think everything needs to be evaluated. You know what I mean? So,
Right. But my question to you is this, okay?
uh-huh.
And I've been calling out Chad Englehart, who is the head of strength and conditioning, but
Mm-hmm.
Tim McGrath is the senior director of
Okay.
health and player performance. His seat should be on fire, like in fuego, okay? Total flames,
Mm-hmm.
because the health of this team was horrible. The
Yeah.
performance of this team, because of the bad health,
It all
was
worked. It all
also
hand in hand.
horrible.
People
But
horrible. The health was horrible. Everything.
we have a general manager,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and Adam Peters, who
Yes.
said that he is pleased with the performance of the health and player performance crew. He
Hmm.
said he's happy with them. He said they did a good job.
Well.
That makes me side eye Adam Peters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, people
Mm-hmm.
are already complaining about his draft picks and how they were handled. Okay. Um, but
But some of that I don't know. See, when people say that about how they draft picks, I can't see. AP job is just to get
the
the groceries.
groceries,
It's
get
the
the
coaches
groceries.
that got to put the
The
players
cook.
in. So I got to put that somewhere on your coaching staff. So I can't really yet
But he
say
is
that's
the general manager,
yeah,
though.
he is. But
And
and
see, when
that's why.
he said something, he was accused of meddling. But see,
Well, that's
people
what we
need
hear.
to,
Yeah,
but
that's what
people
we hear.
need to realize, okay, positions have descriptions,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and the general manager is over the head coach. Okay, when you look at the organizational hierarchy, okay,
Right.
the general manager is over the head coach. So the general manager is not meddling when they make suggestions or they give directions. That's their job. So even though he goes out and gets the ingredients,
Yeah.
he can't let the coach cook it just any old kind of way. Because if the coach is leaving it raw or if the coach is burning it, the general manager can't just sit back and say, well, I got the groceries, so whatever you do
Well,
with them is up to you. They can't do that.
well, I mean, in hindsight, you're right. But a lot of organizations do that because that's where you hold your coaches accountable. I pick the groceries. It's you. I stay out of it as far as who you put on the field. But at the end of the day, if your results don't show up, then that's what I got to fire you.
Okay, so
So
where's the accountability here? Because Dan Quinn stays, but his two key people
I get it.
are gone.
I
So
get it.
there is
I
no
get it.
accountability on Dan Quinn. But
Yes.
getting back to Jaden Daniels being washed up,
Right.
okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I complained about
I totally
strength and
disagree with that.
conditioning. Well, of course, you don't subscribe to that. But
Right.
getting back to strength and conditioning, I was complaining about that the whole season. And
Mm-hmm.
your retort every single time was it's the player's responsibility to take care of themselves in addition to, because you didn't
In
dismiss
addition
my
to
point, but
that.
you did say in addition to. So by that logic, D Nice, are you implying that Jaden Daniels did not take care of himself?
That's a
Mr.
good one.
Washed up in the comments. I'm questioning for you. I'm not saying he's washed up, but I'm questioning for you, Mr. Whoever you are in the comments.
Yeah, Mr. K.
Is he washed up? Is he not
Coberman,
taking care of himself? Is that why he has so many injuries? Is that why he's injury prone? I mean, how long
and that's
is
why
he
that's
gonna
why
last
Lindale
in
Jr.
this
is
league?
saying they wish that they saying they hope the Commanders get Arch Manning. Well, listen, I think Jaden Daniels is fine. Okay, do I think he need to protect himself better? Yes, I do. Some people that's out on him, they wasn't out on him in 2024. You know what I mean? Yes, this year didn't work out the way that we wanted to, but does he need to get better? Yes, he does. He needs to show with everything we're seeing right now that's going into the playoffs. We see Caleb Williams playing at a great level. We're seeing Bo Nix, who will play this week, right, for the Denver Broncos, and we're seeing Drake May playing at a very high level.
And so, those are all people in Jaden's
right. These are all his fellow constituents. So of course, he's linked to them. So yes, in year 3, you want to see Jaden play a lot better because if not, you already hear people saying, "Well, if we reclass right now, that Jaden will be the 4th or 5th quarterback." You wasn't saying that last year. So let's see once we get an offense this offseason, right? We get some additional pieces, hopefully a healthy Terry, and we get some fresh ideas. Let's see where Jaden goes from this year, and then let's judge him from there with hopefully a healthy full season, because last year it was enough, as they say, meat on the bone to it was incomplete for me with 5 games.
It showed me and the dude in the comments something, but okay.
Okay. All right. It definitely did. Yep. Yeah, he has to stay healthy. You're right. That's the main thing, because as Jaden Daniels goes, this team is going to go.
The team goes.
This team is going to go. So I'm yes. I always say it is some point that it is take onus of the players. They have to take some type of accountability and taking care of themselves as well. You look at some of your world best athletes, not to get off the topic, but you look at LeBron James, or you look at Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan when they played. Yeah. These guys they invested a lot of money on their own bodies outside of the organization.
Right.
And you notice with these guys that do this, Denise, they have long careers. And that's what I want for our quarterback. I want to see Jaden Daniels be our quarterback for 10 years plus. Yes, he's already slight frame, but within that slight frame, that doesn't mean it's always been, slender guys that's played in the league. But he has to learn how to protect himself. He has to get stronger in certain areas, whether that's mentally and physically. What I want to see from him next year in this offense, which he was doing more in 2024, is not always look to run. That is his special gift. But like kind of what he was doing in 2024, run, but get the ball into your playmakers' hands. Get the ball down the field. That way you risk taking so many big shots and you're not playing Superman. So that's what I want to see from him. And I think, with this all season, I think with people kind of writing him off, Denise, I think he's going to be hungry. He's going to have a lot to prove this year coming up.
Well, he certainly has a lot to prove because of his failings this year.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't think it's simply down to people's opinions. I think that is more tied to his performance or lack thereof, and being injury prone.
Right.
I'm not feeling good about that. And now but we've
Hey,
had great players to
but
have
okay.
wonderful breakout rookie seasons, and it was unfortunate that he was injured this season. So I agree with you. I'm all in for giving everybody
Right.
this third year to
So let me ask
show and prove.
let me ask you this. Okay. It seems like I understand from what's happened with all the Washington quarterbacks. Let's go back to RG3, even with Jaden. Okay. Not to
Yeah,
even compare them. But it seems like a lot of fans and national pundits always look at, the black quarterbacks here. And when we look at other quarterbacks in the league that are superstars, like Joe Burrow has been hurt so many times since he's been in the league. Let's go even up 95. Even Lamar. Lamar
yeah,
just started being pretty healthy these last couple of years, but Lamar has been in and out.
yeah.
Let's go for what's Atlanta Falcons quarterback. You know, other teams quarterbacks get hurt. Let's look at Justin Herbert. Okay, look at
Okay.
him as being a star. He's been in and out, but no one says when yeah, they are bigger guys, but when they miss a lot of time, no one has anything to say. Jaden Daniels, his first unhealthy season, and so many people got so much to say.
Because the team plummeted.
Well,
The team
these other
plummeted.
teams plummeted as well too. But you didn't hear the same. You didn't hear all that. It was like, oh, it's just a down year. Justin Herbert or Burrow is out. Okay, Jaden Daniels was out, but then we had Terry out. So it was a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
That caused that 5-12. And once again, I'm not saying injuries was the key, because regardless of injuries, you still have to have the next man up mentality.
And
And we
these
should
these
and we
next
did not
men
play
were
well. We
not
did not play
ready. They
well.
were not prepared. They
Absolutely.
didn't initially play well,
Yes.
but we have a great mind
Yeah, we do. We
right here
do.
on the team. And yet we had people who were going out there on the field on both sides of the ball who did not look well prepared, who did not
Right.
look like they were playing a next man up league type of game.
Right.
So yeah, but I'm just looking at what is, but I have a wait and see
Approach.
position on
I'm
this.
mad at you.
I'm hoping the best for him. I am wishing the best for David Blough, because a lot is riding on this. Because if Jaden doesn't perform better next year, if Jaden
Yeah.
can't stay healthy next year,
Well, everybody gonna
uh,
lose their job.
well, it's
you
it's
know,
going to make
it's
David
gonna be a
Blough
lot of people without a job.
higher. It's going to
Yes.
make hiring
Yeah.
promoting David Blough look crazy, because Jaden Daniels' comfort level was
Hmm.
a big factor in this. And when the Commanders put out 5 things you should know about David Blough,
Right.
the big climax was his relationship with
With
Jaden
Jaden Daniels, of
Daniels.
course. Absolutely.
So not only does that David Blough have to perform well in a job he's never held before, but
Hmm.
he's got to save Dan Quinn's job, and he has to make Jaden look very, very good, and show that Jaden is progressing and
Right.
moving forward and is still on an upward trajectory in his career. So heavy lies the head that wears the crown,
Crown.
King
Yeah.
David Blough. Okay.
Hey,
So
we
I hope
hope.
it works out.
Me
I'm
too.
cheering for this team.
Me
I'm
too.
supporting this team. I hope it works out.
Yeah. Me too.
If not, we will continue to rebuild a team that has been rebuilding for practically all of my life.
Well, we know if it don't work out, Denise, we know it'll be with a whole new coaching staff, the following year. So,
Rebuilding.
yeah, and I don't want that. That seemed like that would set us back another 10 years. We
We
finally
need
started to seem like,
sustainability.
yeah,
That's
we need
that's what I
sustainability.
want. I want
Absolutely.
sustainability, and I want something that is good to be sustained. I don't
Yeah.
know why people are talking about sustainability right now, because who wants sustainability from a 5-12 team? But I guess everybody is looking past that and
Past
going
that.
back to
Yep.
2024 and saying we
Hmm.
want sustainability from 2024. But that ship has sailed and it sank like the Titanic. You are not getting sustainability from 2024 because of 2025. 2025 told you the story behind the story of
Right.
2024. So we have to move forward. We got to
Mhm.
move forward. And we have a young, a fresh guy with a great mind, fresh eyes, new perspective. You
Yeah.
know, he's got a new vision. He's the new voice. These are all diplomatic terms for inexperience, folks.
Right.
Okay, that's a nice way to say he's got no experience.
Right.
But the team is presenting him in a very positive way, and they speak about him in very aspirational terms.
Right.
So hopefully all's well that will end well. We
Hope
shall
so.
see.
I hope so. I hope so. So look, um, we pretty much hit on a lot of good key points.
Yes.
We, as we said, we're gonna keep this pretty short, and we got more things coming down the pike as we're gonna talk about. Hopefully, our new hire of our defensive coordinator. But I want to take the time to tell everyone thank you so much for supporting Two of a Kind Sports. We are now over 100 subscribers.
Thank
Without you
you.
guys, without you, this would not be possible. You know what I mean? So I wanna, just give you a hand, give you a handshake. Thank you for making this happen. We on our journey to 1,000 subscribers, and we only can do this with you guys. So thank you so much. So continue to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend so they can tell a friend. Help Two of a Kind Sports to continue keep growing. Leave us comments, to help us to grow. What you like about the show, what you want to see us talk more of, or more interactions of. But once again, I just want to tell you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And Denise, as always, we always bring in great content, and Two of a Kind is where we always do that. And this is the show what where passion meets the game, right?
Passion meets the
So we
game.
passion meets the game. So we're always gonna bring it. We're up to new, fresh ideas, but we are, as I said in the last live stream, just because the season is over with, we're not over with. We're going to continue to keep dropping content. It may be content for myself one on one or with Denise one on one, but we're going to always come back and do it live. We're going to talk about all this great stuff that we see coming down the pike with the Commanders. So I just want to tell all you Commander fans, thank you so much for helping us make this journey that we're on to 1,000 subscribers. But so far, we hit the 102
The
mark.
century mark.
Yes, the century mark. So thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate that. And, that's pretty much all I have to really say on this topic. But David Blough, I thank you, the man, and I'm glad that you're here in D.C. And I just hope that you can help take Jaden Daniels to another level. Take him to another level. Help make all these naysayers that we have out here, help change that narrative. Because right now, they trying to crap on my man named JD5. And I just don't, I'm not for it. You know what I mean? I think that we got something in store. And like I said, this is a very pivotal offseason for AP DQ. We have to make the right DC hiring. I believe we made the right OC hiring. But now we have to also go attack free agency, spend some money, because we're going to be one of the teams that in the league that has the highest cap. So we got to go spend money. And the 5 draft picks, whether we trade back or not, if we stay put at pick number 7, we have to make the right picks. So I want to go. I think next year can turn around, and I'm excited,
So
Denise.
too.
I'm excited. So, but before we wrap up, Denise, do you have anything else that you would like to say?
Of course, I want to, as always, thank everyone for your viewership. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching our videos. Thank you for watching our shorts. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining us on our lives. We appreciate all of that, and we look so forward to more to come. This is the new year. Happy New Year to everybody. This is
Yes.
2026,
Mm-hmm.
and I think what was my mom's rhyme? 2026, and we're in the mix. That's my mom's
I
rhyme.
like that, Mama. I like that.
2026,
I like
and we're
that.
in the mix. So,
Good
and
job. I
as my
like that.
mom always says,
I
keep
like that.
love alive 365. She has all these rhymes. So
I love
keep
it.
love alive 365.
That's
and
right.
Tune in for more from us right here at Two of a Kind Sports, where passion meets the game. And we would be remiss if we didn't thank our main man,
Main man, Mr.
Shori.
Hey.
Shori, our technical advisor.
Yes,
Okay. Shori does so much work for us. Shori works
absolutely.
so hard. He works around the clock. He's always coming up with ideas and he's always helping us out and he's helping the show to grow. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Shori. Gratitude is our attitude. We
That's
thank
right.
you.
That's right. And and Denise, that was well said. Sure, man. We really appreciate you, and we look forward to doing bigger and better things in 2026. But Commander fans, before Two of a Kind Sports go out, I want to leave what I always like to say to everybody: if you know someone, love someone, hug someone. I don't know if you understand out here, mental depression is real, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have, family or friends. And we're at the pivotal point in our lives with everything that's going on in the economy and everything that we need to be there for each other. So I just want to tell you from all of from Two of a Kind Sports that D Nice and Denise, we love you. And
Yeah.
I just want to continue to tell everybody to spread that word to love someone and hug someone. So thank you so much and stay tuned for the next show.
Thank you and bye bye.
Bye bye.